This week on Most Craved.
Arnold Schwarzenegger is back in Terminator.
And what if Interstellar isn't stellar? Don't hurt me!
Hey, and welcome back to Most Craved. I'm Silas Lesnick with ComingSoon.net.
I'm Jenna Busch with Legion of Leia.
And I'm William Bibbiani with CraveOnline. Hey, hey, hey.
Well, okay, let's start with Terminator Genisys. We got some plot points revealed, and they're a little odd, along with some rather derpy pictures. I don't know, do you guys think they're derpy? I'm sorry, they're derpy.
Okay, I thought that was an offensive phrase.
No, it's not. It comes from My Little Pony. I don't know.
It comes from a mean little pony.
Anyway, here are the details. So we're in 2029, future war is happening, we're all going against Skynet. John Connor sends back Kyle Reese to protect his mom, Sarah Connor, back in 1984. Okay, totally cool, on board. Except that she knows about Terminators because her parents were killed by one and she's being raised by one, Arnold Schwarzenegger, an old T-800 model. She calls him Pops. Pops! Really? Pops.
I actually like the plot. I mean, like, it certainly could go bad. I think the title's really bad.
Oh, the title is embarrassing.
It sounds like a Funny or Die sketch.
I like, as a fan of time travel and complicated continuity, the idea of like, well, now there's another Terminator timeline that exists, especially if you include the Sarah Connor Chronicles TV show.
Which was awesome.
Like,
all right, fine.
I just want to draw the Terminator timeline and see how it all syncs up. But the idea of Arnold Schwarzenegger as like, presumably sort of, because we didn't see him really in the pictures as much, like a Frankenstein, like rotting flesh and like a steel bottle, and that's neat to me.
Well, that's also from Terminator 2, the idea of him as John Connor's father. So we're just taking the idea of Terminator 2 and we're putting it onto Sarah Connor. Now, again, they're trying to reboot the franchise, and time travel gives you an opportunity to do that organically. They did that with the Star Trek movies, and say what you will about the sequels, it wasn't a bad idea to reboot the franchise. It was kind of interesting. For me, I don't know, it does sound kind of silly, but I wrote off the Terminator franchise after Salvation. I know a lot of people did it after 3. It's kind of like the Alien franchise. It started with 2, arguably 3 really good movies that are fun and also decent sci-fi, and then it got stupid. So it's getting stupid. Okay, is it going to be fun stupid? Because that's all I care about. I want fun stupid, not like A Good Day to Die Hard stupid.
Yeah, okay,
you know?
so here's my thing. I've said this before, and I'll say it again. I will still see the movie, and I want to love it. I want it to be good. I'm open to it being good. I'm open to it being wonderful, except the title. Can I just say this thing about titles? Okay, if you're going to spell it like this, there should be a reason for it. Edge of Tomorrow, totally wrecked by title. Batman v Superman, Law and Order, really dumb title. Just give me think about these things. Well, that's sort of what it is.
It is silly. I don't get it.
No.
Maybe we will.
Maybe we will.
It raises an issue, though, and I think we need to talk about this, is of audience expectation and what we expect to like and whether or not we insist on having that expectation confirmed.
Right.
I think everyone was approaching the new Terminator with a certain degree of skepticism because we've been burned by Terminator before, for example. But, for example, Interstellar, I mean, when the trailer came out, people saying, is this the best trailer ever?
Because it was a great trailer.
It was a great trailer. Is this going to be the best movie ever?
You know what else has a great trailer, though?
Yes.
Is like Michael Bay's Pearl Harbor.
Does have a great trailer.
That is a very good point.
Holy crap, that is a great trailer. It helps that the Hans Zimmer music helps, but we're getting off topic. But I feel like, reviews have started to come in, and by now the movie is actually out in IMAX by the time this episode debuts, and it'll be out in theaters everywhere the day after. Critics started seeing it. Some of them, myself included, said it's not that great. And people are worried. People are upset. And I'm wondering what that means about audience expectation. Thoughts?
Well, I think it's always been like that. I mean, all of the crazy threats and angry tweets and comments and things I get for reviews that I've done are always before the movie opens. Now, I haven't seen it yet. I haven't seen Interstellar, so I'm coming at it from audience. Even though I also review, I'm coming at it as an audience member.
Well, critics are audience members, too.
Well,
I think it's fair to point that out.
But I mean, I think that you're always going to have expectations, and largely, if most critics don't like something, generally later on, it's not considered to be a great movie. If most critics love it, it usually is.
There are exceptions that people tout out, though. And the one that people keep saying all the time right now is that 2001: A Space Odyssey didn't get great reviews when it first came out. And that is generally speaking, true. But that's not an altruism. And there are other examples of that too. Fight Club didn't get great reviews. But you know what? Green Lantern didn't get great reviews, and everyone admits that one kind of stunk. I remember this huge dust-up over really angry, actual violent comments when people criticized The Dark Knight Rises. And now people tend to agree, and again, you're entitled to your opinion, whatever it is, tend to agree that that wasn't as good as The Dark Knight, if nothing else. And yet, there were no apologies. Thoughts? Silas, you've been quiet.
Well, I mean, I get it. Like, if you're really looking forward to something, the last thing you want is somebody telling you that, like, no, I remember when I was in high school and episode 1 came out, and there was a guy at school who worked at the movie theater, and he was like, yeah, I saw it yesterday. And I was so like, oh, that was my movie. Like, I've been waiting for that. I'm going to go camp out and wait in line. And it actually bugged me that, like, somebody else saw it first. It's just one of those things, and I get it. Like,
I guess my question is why we live in a culture right now that was sort of bred to define ourselves by the things that we love, particularly the stories that we love. It's what being a geek is all about, and I think that can be great. But hell, I'm wearing a Doctor Who shirt under this right now. But I think there's a difference between defining yourself or wrapping your ego or whatever around something that you have seen and loved and something that you hope to love. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does. I mean, I wanted to love Pacific Rim. I did not love Pacific Rim.
You're a monster!
You're not the first person to say that. Wow. I posted it after a screening, and people got really, really angry at me. But, you know, the truth is, I'm excited to see Interstellar. I generally agree with most of the people who have reviewed it negatively, with most of their opinions with movies, but I'm still going to see it. And I think if it's a larger movie, it's not like it's going to tank the movie.
It's probably going to do really, really well at the box office. But as we've seen, doing well at the box office doesn't necessarily mean it's good.
Right.
But it's one of those things where it's like if you love something, this line is actually in Adaptation, and it's one of my favorite bits, where if you love something, that love belongs to you.
Yeah.
And you have every right to keep loving it. If you can, I was arguing with my friend Eric Eisenberg from Cinema Blend, who gave Big Hero 6 the first negative review. I loved Big Hero 6.
I loved it too.
And when we had a conversation about it, it's just fundamentally different things are important to us. He's not wrong in what he thinks, but like that's completely different. So anyone that I think is upset at critics is ultimately angry that something that they may love may not be something that they love, and it's just frustration.
But you don't see this in things that, for example, have already come out. If I met you at a party, audience, and you hadn't seen the Fantastic Four movie with Jessica Alba, and I told you it wasn't very good, would you say to me, you're wrong, it's perfect, I haven't seen it, but I hope one day to watch it and like it? But if it hasn't come out yet, there's this sort of, it's a different mentality.
Well, yeah, because it's the timing. It's somebody that has something they love, and they're
But they don't love it yet. They don't know if they love it.
But they might love the trailer or the news stories about it earlier.
But that's marketing. What you love is marketing.
I loved episode 1 before it came out, and you know what? I still like. At the very least, I love the love I had for it, and I love the like.
That's
time
fine.
Where that meant a great deal to me.
But I feel like that's the difference between true love, loving what something or someone actually is, and stalking them. Because you have a thought of what they're going to be in your head, and then you actually meet them, and even if you start dating them and it doesn't work out, it's like, well, I loved them in my head, and therefore I have to make this relationship work, even if it's destroying our souls and we're going to get divorced.
Well, I feel like therapy needs to happen.
The other thing too is like Interstellar's. It's not like it's a piece of garbage or anything. There's a lot to love in it.
It's mixed. I think you and I both saw it, and you and I both agree. It's mixed. It's just not perfect. It aims really, really high, and it hits somewhere around here, and that's disappointing, and it's worthy of criticism. But yeah, I don't think it's the best movie ever made. Don't hurt me.
And I'm still excited to see it.
Okay.
If you saw Interstellar, let us know what you thought. Leave your comments below, and we'll see you next week on Most Craved.
Don't hurt me.